Hello and welcome to the SciFirst MovieTalk episode. So in this episode I am going to be discussing the 2017 musical The Greatest Showman, as directed by Michael Gracie in his directorial debut. Set mainly in 1840s, 1850s New York, the film is inspired by the story of P.T. Barnum and his creation of Barnum's American Museum, and his journey to become one of the world's first great entertainers, leading, of course, to the legend that was his famous circus. So, the film takes many artistic liberties, rides a bit roughshod over the checkered past and the checkered history of P.T. Barnum, but it isn't a historical representation by any stretch of the imagination. It never claims to be. It's not a biography of the life of P.T. Barnum at all, but it is one that showcases the drive, the determination and the eccentricities required in order to embark on such a venture. The film follows P.T. Barnum, as played by Hugh Jackman, from a child with big dreams and an extremely tenacious attitude, especially as far as his childhood sweetheart is concerned, Charity Hallett, as played by Michelle Williams, as they get older, of course, who, through all adversity and across the class divide, basically find each other later in life, become married and have two wonderful, bright and fun-loving children together, Caroline and Helen, as played by Austin Johnson and Cameron Seeley, respectively. But living in New York, times are hard, and soon finding himself out of a job, Barnum knows he can do more. He knows how to dream. He just needs to make it a reality. And so soon, and with the support of his ever understanding and very supportive family, he opens the Barnum American Museum of Oddities and Curiosities, which it fails. But then proceeds, after finding inspiration from his children, to fill his museum with live wonders and acts the likes of never had been seen before, bringing in talent from all walks of life, bringing together a collection of people that had been labelled as freaks and outcasts in the wider world, bringing together a celebration of the wondrously different and the macabre and the otherwise inflicted. Working alongside New York socialite and playwright Philip Carlyle, as played by Zac Efron, Barnum's circus starts to appeal to the masses, but Barnum, he still fails to obtain the respect of New York's high society, which, he so desperately craves. His thirst for recognition amongst New York's elite basically, sees Barnum shun his trademark attraction in favour of a more highbrow act, promoting the opera sensation, the Swedish Nightingale, Jenny Lind, as played by Rebecca Ferguson. However, this ends ultimately with disastrous consequences, which sees Barnum lose all of his money, his family, and his friends. He had such vision and passion, but was also too narrow-minded to actually realise what he truly had. That it was something amazing, but he couldn't let go of the past. What people thought of him mattered so much. But keeping a man like Barnum down, it's difficult to say the least. So I did actually watch this about 6-ish weeks ago. I mean, time's flying. Probably about close to 8 weeks ago now, if I'm honest. We did go to a drive-in cinema, like a pop-up thing that had come around the local area for the first time as well. And I did say at the time that I would rewatch the film for a review, as I kind of really just wanted to enjoy the driving experience at that point in time. for what it was, basically. I did upload a video of the experience, so please do feel free to check that out if you've got time. If you'd just basically like to see us scoffing us faces, which is pretty much what it is. In that then, I did rewatch the film for this review, as promised. I also wanted to rewatch the film when I could sing to my heart's content, to be quite honest, without being conscious of the fact that there was a camera in the car while I was watching the film. And sing I did. For me, the movie is simply superb on many, many levels. Not least its soundtrack. There is simply not one musical number in this movie that I don't like. And there's usually one or two. Nor any that I think fail to move the plot forward. I'll put it straight out there. I would probably classify this as my favourite musical of all time. The movie is indeed one of the very, very rare occasions. In fact, I think it's probably the first where I've actually listened to and loved the soundtrack way before I had got to see the film for the first time. You know, I was basically in a shop one day and heard some music playing, which it kind of just resonated with me there and then. At the time, I didn't really know what it was. To be fair, I thought it was High School Musical, not having seen any of those movies either. So I did a bit of digging and found out that it was The Greatest Showman. And so I obtained it, and basically there was no looking back. It was the only thing in the car, on repeat, non-stop, for about 6 months. But I'd missed the film at the cinema, so hey. With 9 original songs penned by the duo Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, the music is just absolutely out of this world. And before I even get into the film, it's so awe-inspiring and inspirational on its own. I actually remember being at an interview when this kind of came out. It was about 3 hours away from where I live. And so it was kind of a bit of a drive. And obviously you kind of come out the interview feeling a bit deflated. And mine personally, it had been like a 2-day grueling experience. But do you know what? I listened to that soundtrack on the way home non-stop. And it gave me such a confidence boost and enabled me to see the positives in what had just happened. Yeah, you know, I can't stress it enough. The music in this movie is just absolutely out of this world fantastic. The film? Nah. No, honest, the film is absolutely fantastic too in its entirety. I can't imagine a better melding of music, visuals and story that kind of would go together so well. I mean, there have been a number of great musicals, absolutely. Well, movie musicals. There have been tons of great musicals, but a number of great movie musicals. There really has. But I've got to say that this film ranks up there among some of the most exquisite, magical and captivating musicals I have ever seen. I mean, you might have thought that seeing the Wolverine doing musical numbers would be a bit odd, but it isn't. Hugh Jackman is absolutely excellent in this movie. In fact, the film is acted superbly throughout. Everybody puts in their all, and together they create something of pure entertainment. Both Jackman and Williams, you know, they have some real on-screen chemistry together, along with Zac Efron and Zendaya, who plays Anne Wheeler, an acrobat and trapeze artist, who together they can form kind of an uneasy romantic bond. They are simply electrifying. Even the supporting cast are absolutely fantastic, especially Keela Settle as Letty Lutz, the bearded lady, basically, who can, you know, she can belt out a tune. But even right down to the finer details and characters, such as the barman featured in the musical number The Other Side. Just watching him at work during the number and kind of how he fits in seamlessly with the dance routine is simply a sight to behold. Absolutely. The cinematography and choreography is simply stunning throughout. And some of the scenes, they really, really pop. For instance, the musical number A Million Dreams is simply breathtaking, with an absolutely out-of-this-world backdrop, providing a real big stage show feel, really. It does feel a little like 2001's Moulin Rouge at times, if I'm honest, but more coherent. And the routine for Rewrite the Stars, it's so romantically intense. The whole scene sizzles with pure desire. The whole ensemble takes us on a very emotional journey, which is so motivational and inspiring. It teaches us and even pushes us to dream big, to be who we are, and not let anybody or anything put us down. And this, apart from the music, of course, is one of the movie's biggest draws for me, personally. What starts out as a freak show to objectify its performers and obtain laughs at their expense, quickly becomes a family, a sanctuary, where everybody and anybody can feel and be accepted. Watching the performers' confidence in this respect grow in the musical number Come Alive is absolutely brilliant and really, really gets you involved with these characters. In fact, the movie examines acceptance on a number of levels throughout all of its main characters, dealing with kind of how they crave it, how we seek it sometimes, and how other people's prejudices and, other things end up shaping who we are and who we might become, correctly or incorrectly. From the approval of a disapproving stepfather to the way we look, the way we act, and the colour of our skin, or even the social class that we live in. This movie, it brings it all together in one package. The movie doesn't linger either. It's very quick and very much to the point, bringing us musical number after musical number, thick and fast in quick succession. It feels like a lavish stage show production, and I can, you can just imagine yourself sat there in the upper tiers. Yes, I am that tight, getting ready to kind of give a standing ovation at the end of the film. Overall, so if you haven't been able to tell by the end of this review, I absolutely love The Greatest Showman. No matter how many times I have watched it, it never gets old for me, which, each time been as captivating as the first, and that is a really rare feeling for me. Once you know the plot, sometimes you see things coming, but this, it remains so fresh. Just hearing the film's intro each time simply makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I love its style. I love its presence. Its crescendo. It is simply a true spectacle and a modern classic in my eyes, whilst also being very fun and very fresh at the same time. The film will certainly leave you with a fantastic feeling of satisfaction, and it simply just has a quality that more than resonates with me, as I am sure that it will with anybody else who has ever felt belittled, put down, picked on, or bullied. With some real tear-jerking moments, enticing romance, and a basket full of songs you will not be able to get out of your head. This movie is a real crowd pleaser, in the truest sense. Totally heartwarming, and one of the most inspirational and motivational movies I know. So, that brings me to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like. Please do hit that subscribe button for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and other movie-related content. We have loved having you. We would love to have you back at SciFirst MovieTalk. Absolutely. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.